It's another special edition of the Brett Allan Show, a pop culture podcast where we talk to your favorite actors, celebrities, musicians from film, television, comedy, and more, pretty much anything pop culture related. You will find us there hanging out. And today we are chatting with the very amazingly talented Joss Stone about her brand new album, Never Forget My Love, which is just on repeat here in the house. Thanks for hanging out today. I appreciate it.
That's so lovely. Thanks for having me.
Yes, well, I have been a fan for a very long time. I think pretty much since day one, really. So it's very special to have you on the show. This new music is great. 2022 is here. As you have said, you're ready to take it on. Let's talk about the music and what sort of inspired you and the genesis behind this brand new music.
Well, I think that this is finally the pushest album I've made in my mind. It's like the classy Joss, if you like. I feel like I've kind of grown into this woman that doesn't have any worries. I mean, of course we have upset in our lives, but if you've listened to me since the beginning, you've heard all sorts of versions of me in a way. It's always me, but it's like if you listen to a 15-year-old writing a song, there will be insecurities in there and worries and kind of questions, lots of them. But now I'm 34, and if things don't work out, it's okay. Do you know what I mean? You get to that place and you don't care anymore. So you're just you, and you're just honest and raw, and it's like, whatever, let's just be us. Let's just be who we are, which is a nice thing.
It is. It really is. And especially for somebody like yourself who's had such longevity in this business and sustainability and all of the things that go along with being a musician and a quote unquote, public figure, which I feel is a very polarizing term, but your music has progressed over the years, really. Yeah. So again, as you mentioned, and this is what I'm hearing, it has to be very satisfying to put something out and just kind of go, pardon the crudeness, but F it, this is it. If you don't like me, then that's cool. And if you do, you do. So especially as a musician.
It's a lovely feeling, isn't it? To let go of the outcome, because sometimes you may find yourself making an album or writing a song and thinking, oh gosh, I really hope that it sits on this radio station and this playlist and these people play it. And it's just not the right way to do things. I think we should just live our lives, be happy, be free, be honest. Make music that we're feeling at the time. Don't worry about anything. Just be true. And I think the music comes out much more lush and natural if you have that attitude. So I think that's what happened here. I mean, and of course I was playing with my friend Dave. So it was like that was encouraged, to just be you, because we really like each other. We're like best mates playing in the sandpit. That's the best way that I can explain writing a song with Dave Stewart. He's very encouraging and he's a very uplifting person to be with. So if I say, Dave, I really want to make this dramatic, huge ballad that's got strings all over it, and we just tell our hearts, he goes, yeah, let's do this. Let's go for it. And it came out so good. I'm so glad.
Yeah, it's really, really nice. And again, that's part of the fun of following an artist for the trajectory of their career, because you get to see, it's like wine, wine and has different vintages, right? I'm in the wine industry, so you get to taste what each year is like. And with your music, it's the same thing. Was this pretty well born out of the pandemic, the lockdown, just kind of recording, or had you started this prior, or was this kind of after things? How did that work out for you as far as being able to get production? I'm sure you probably have easy access to be able to record clearly because you have new music.
So actually, when it first kicked off, what was it, February or something, when it was starting to kind of trickle in, I wanted to record a song called Walk With Me that I put out. Really just because I felt at that time we needed something. I felt I wanted to help. I don't know why. I think I can possibly help. But I thought what can I do? You know, like all my gigs have been taken away, and that's my tool
Yeah.
that helps people smile. That's what I have, is my voice and my music and my band, and we go around the world and we make people happy. That's our job. And then someone comes along and takes that all away. I thought, oh, well, how can I do my job? I don't know how to record my own voice, but here I am now talking to you on my little microphone with my little Scarlett box. And to the left here, I've got a little ISO Vox box. I put my head in it and I just sing and I do it on GarageBand. And I learned, it took me ages, but I learned how to do it. And I sent it to Steve to mix it, and he was like, oh my God, it's actually all right. So I was like, oh, wow, it did work, you know?
That's
So
funny.
it's not as easy as just going to a studio and having everyone just set up and play.
Right.
But we did it. You can do it, even if
Yes.
there's a lockdown, even if they tell you to stay inside your house. You can do it. You do need a bit of equipment, but I've only got 4 things actually to make that happen. So you can do it. It's just you got to have the will, right? So that was that one song, but this album, it was just Dave being hopeful and optimistic. He said, I know there's a pandemic. I know there's a lockdown. I know we're not supposed to be traveling. Or not even not supposed to, but people are saying that we're not allowed and it's not possible to. What a load of shit.
Yeah.
It actually was possible to. It was always possible to. I traveled the entire time and I did not get COVID until like last month.
Right. Same here. Yeah, I know.
Oh, did you? It's that
Yeah.
bloody new variant. It's just it.
One trip to Los Angeles for Christmas with my son, and
you got it.
we all got hammered like instantly. I digress, but yeah, I know it's ridiculous.
It's so annoying, isn't it? Because you survive all that time and you're like, yes, I haven't got it. And then all of a sudden it just gets you in the side of the head like a sucker punch.
Yeah.
But,
It's,
you know.
wow, very fascinating.
Yeah. So we managed to travel, and Dave said, I'm going to the Bahamas, which is where he's living on a tiny island in the middle of nowhere, and he's made a studio, and he said, come down, we're going to write some songs for this play called Time Traveler's Wife that's actually coming out now. They've just announced it like 2 days ago.
Okay.
So that's coming soon in England, so people can go and actually see the play, which we thought was not going to be possible, of course, in the pandemic. You're not allowed to bring anyone together, but that's happening. As everything, these things do pass. So we just continued to write for that, just not even paying any mind to the fact that people were saying life is not going to go back to normal. We're never going to have plays. We're never going to have concerts again. You know, we just ignored that completely and carried on regardless. And I went down there. We started writing songs about time travel, which is an odd thing to do, but quite fun. And then I was just telling him about my dreams of what records I wanted to make. You know, I was just talking about Dusty Springfield and Dionne Warwick and the Burt Bacharach songs, really. I said, I really want to make songs like that, but I don't really know how. I don't know how to go about it. You know, I'm used to making songs with a groove bass. You know, it's all blues and R&B, and, you know, there's like a hip hop backbone, and you just flow. But it's not a deliberately constructed, composed masterpiece. That's not what I'm used to doing, but I want to do it. And so Dave said, well, I know how to do it. And he grabbed his guitar and he went, how about this? And then we just wrote 10 songs and it was done in like 5 days.
It's amazing. I find what you do and others just fascinating, being able to write songs in such short spurts. A couple other questions here as we wrap up. Are you one that likes to write before you go into the studio to record, or do you go into the studio in a normal situation where you have, you know, obviously you can go into a place, I mean, in home, I guess it would be similar, but where you write while you're in the studio and you're putting things together with producers and musicians, or do you have everything locked and loaded? Do you go in and you're like, I'm here, let's record an album as efficiently and the best that we can?
We kind of did a bit of a combination of that.
Okay.
Because we had the map um, that we'd made in the Bahamas in those 5 days. We had we had made the map for each song, so the
Okay.
melodies were all decided on, all the chords, the way that the drums was to play, and the way the strings were to go. Apart from I did add a bit later, but mostly the bones of it was written.
Okay.
But Dave is he's so funny because he is so quick with things, and it's like that's why it's playful. We never sit
Yeah.
and like lament over what should this lyric be. It's just, okay, this sounds great. Okay, once the feeling is done, the song is done, and then that's it. So I'd be like, Dave, well, what about all the lyrics? We only had the chorus and like 3 words in the verse. And he's like, don't worry about that. We'll get to that later. So actually I would go away and work on that. And then I brought it to the studio in Nashville where we recorded finally.
Okay.
And then we finished it. So we did do a combo. Um, but it's fun to do both. But I like to have sort of a plan.
Yeah, I can imagine. Do you do you find yourself like getting inspired in the middle of the night and like pull out the phone and do voice
Yeah.
notes and things like that and go maybe even sing something and hum a melody and then, email it or message it to one of your team members and say, "Hey, check this out. What do you think?" So you do that as well.
Yes, I definitely do that. I don't always email it because I'm always a bit shy of that until it's ready. But I'll do that for myself.
Okay.
But do you know what's so annoying? Often at night, when I'm lying in bed and everything is silent, something comes and it's almost a perfectly finished idea. And I will be like humming it. I have all the words, I have everything. And I think that is unforgettable in my dream state. I
Love
think
it.
that is exactly perfect. That's what I want to do. And then I think stupidly, so arrogantly to myself, that's so unforgettable. I'm going to remember that in the morning. And I don't record it. And of course I don't remember it in the morning. So, if anybody out there is listening and is a songwriter, just always do a voice note, even if you think it's easy to remember, because I have made that mistake so many times.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Do you write music for other artists as well? Do you get pushed for that or do you just mostly write for yourself and keep it?
Yeah. That's one of my big dreams, to write for other singers. I've written
Okay.
for a few other singers, but nothing like that has been a massive thing that you would know about. But just, writing with my girlfriends, my friend Celine, I wrote with her. I wrote with I worked with a lady called Violet Skies when she was really young, and now she's an amazing writer. So that's cool. But really, it's just something that I want to do in the next few years. I want to totally focus in on exactly that. It's like you're reading my mind asking me this question, because I've been talking about it so much for the last year. I'm now a mum, and
Yes.
I love that so much. Touring is not that great when you've got kids that are running around. Right now, she's tiny, so it's easy. But I would love to continue to write songs and have a young artist come along and say, I'll sing it. I'll go on the road. I'll run around the world singing this song. That would be a dream, wouldn't it? Because you can still have music in your life, and someone else can run around the world like crazy doing it.
Yeah, that's funny. And or maybe a children's album. Who knows what the future might hold,
Yes.
especially with
Oh, I've
kids.
got lullabies now. I actually do you know what's crazy? Literally 2 hours ago, I was putting her to bed and I wrote this new song for her whilst I was doing a lullaby, whilst I was singing her to sleep. And I forgot to make a voice note.
Well, there you go. Now you have a job to do when we're done. When you're done with
Yes.
press.
Oh my gosh.
It's so again just super fascinating and great music. But I always look at music as storytelling, being a storyteller.
Yeah.
This album, what is the big hope for you? I mean, obviously you want people to enjoy it, but is there a message or a hope or something that you would like listeners to take away from when they get a chance to listen if they haven't already?
Mm-hmm. So the title is Never Forget My Love,
Yeah.
which is actually one of the songs on the record. And Dave, we were trying to think of a title for the album that was just separate from any of the songs, and nothing was really hitting. And he said, Joss, that's who you are. That's what you do. You just love all the time, and that's what you're trying to do. So why not just use that as the title? I thought, oh, that's actually perfect. You know, if that was on my gravestone, that'd be perfect. You know, so
I love it.
It's really about, I of course want people to feel love when they listen to it, and also comfort even when they're listening to the sad songs, to know that you're not on your own. You're not the only one that's been through it, actually. We're all in this life together. And sometimes you have good days, sometimes you have bad, sometimes you have to grieve. But when you're grieving a relationship, that's because of love.
Yeah.
That's why. If there was no love, you wouldn't care.
Right. You'd just be like, whatever.
Exactly. So if we can think and remember those love moments, maybe will end up less bitter and just more accepting, I suppose.
I love it. That is a great piece of advice and words to live by, because really losing somebody that you love, regardless of the circumstances, it's a mourning process.
Yes.
And you have to allow yourself to mourn and get through it.
Yep.
Throw on Joss's new album to kind of help you press through it. We'll make sure that we put links to all of this in our show notes so people can listen and watch. Again, such fantastic music, always on play here in the house with our, I won't say her name because if I do, she'll talk to me. Alexa. Well, see, it just lit up here, so I got to be careful. Joss Stone, thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you very much.